About to get wild. Hi, I'm Holiday, and we're back. I'm still in my truck, still looking for a new job, trying to get back home. But I could not wait any longer, and I decided that if you watched the last video, that I'm gonna start doing videos in my truck. So here I am doing videos in my truck, and I have a true crime case for you today. I even have my notes. I will say that this case is very graphic, very traumatizing, very, oh my god, very gory, very sad, but there is a very good outcome in the end from a survivor. So why don't we start? This is the story of Alison Brotha from South Africa. Alison is 27. Both of her parents divorced when she was 10, but right now she lives in South Africa with her mother and her brother. But separate houses, everything. She's grown, has her own apartment, and she's an insurance broker. What happens to Alison is that she goes for a night out with her friends. She goes to the beach. They're having fun. They decide to go back to her place to play, a few board games, still spend some time together after being at the beach, a girls' night out. And Allison decides to take her friend Kim home. And she comes back, she parks in front of her apartment, and she's getting her stuff together. She's getting her like her bag. She has laundry detergent supposedly in the next seat next to her. She's like, all right, let me get my stuff out. Let me get going in the house. But something weird happens. And what happens is a random man opens her driver door and she feels the warm air in South Africa. Now, I will have a comment on that because I feel like what I hate is that when I park my car, I definitely hate that my doors immediately unlock. Why are you unlocking? I'm not getting out yet. What if I gotta get my stuff together? I will say that is a very big flaw with vehicles when it comes vehicles for women. Like literally, I park my car, put my car in park, doors start to unlock. That's crazy. Sounds dangerous. So she feels the warm air on her skin, and a man with a knife comes right up under her, like right under her, like chest with a knife, and says, "Move over, or I'm going to kill you." Whoa. The man's name in question, who is now has her at knife point, his name is Clinton, and I want y'all to know now that's not his real name. Once Allison decides to make the decision to let him take her car and her in it, he says that he's going to go pick up his friend, and then they drive Allison to a remote area. Yeah. So who is Clinton and his friend? Let's be real. I don't really know how to pronounce their names 100%, so please forgive me, anybody that lives in South Africa, because something's wrong with the mouth over here when it comes to names and pronouncing words. I'm not gonna lie. His name is Franz de Toot and Thinus Cougar or Kruger. They both have a history of violence towards women. They are both serial rapists because they work in a pair, and also they are Satanists in a way. Nothing against people who are actual Satanists and actually practice it in the way it's supposed to be practiced. These two are not practicing it the way they are. They really kidnapped Allison to do a satanic ritual, and they were going to basically sacrifice her body to satanic god or Satan himself. Also, I'm sorry if you hear my dog going off right now. It's because he thinks we're going somewhere and we're not. They're Satanists, and they believe that they have to sacrifice somebody to get this God's love or have abundance in life or whatever. So what they do next to Allison is very graphic, and I would like to put a warning up saying that like this will be probably a tough here, especially if you're a woman, especially if you went through any type of essay, sexual, like, anything sexual. SA stands for sexual assault. Just to let anybody know that doesn't know, I'm pretty sure anybody that's listening to this video has been in the true crime world and know what's up, what's going on. But just for those that don't, SA is sexual assault. So what Franz and Thinus do to Allison, because I have to take a minute because this has to be terrifying hearing what is going to happen to you. They tell Allison that they're going to have sex with her. Franz is a dickhead, and he literally asks Allison if she's going to fight back against the rape. Allison just wants to survive, so she says no, she's not gonna fight back. She's gonna allow whatever they're gonna do to happen to her. I have read from other places that only Franz was able to sexually assault Allison. Tugger wasn't able to perform, So I guess that's a little good news, I guess. Cugger couldn't perform. That's when things really went to hell for Allison. Franz and Cugger tried to suffocate Allison, and she did fall unconscious, but they saw that she was still breathing. So they decided to, more like Franz, decided to slit her throat 16 times. Yeah. And Allison said that she woke up to Franz standing over her, slicing her neck. She said she could not feel it, and I believe she couldn't feel it because she was in shock, but she said she could not feel it. All she heard was wet sounds and her flesh being sliced open. After doing that, Franz felt like it wasn't enough, so he decided to slice open her stomach, and he sliced her open 30 times to try to hit her reproductive organs to prevent her from having life. But also, he felt as though she's not going to survive this, so she doesn't really need them. After he was done slicing up her neck and her stomach, I will say they because, they together decided that she was deceased. So they took her car and drove away, and they left her there to die. But Allison wasn't dead. Allison was not dead. Once they drove away, she realized, like, all right, well, they're going. They probably think I'm dead. I need to try to survive. But Allison was very much trying to be okay with death. And what I mean by that is that she wrote in the sand her killer's name. And she also wrote in the sand that was next to her, I love you, Mom. She didn't think she was going to make it. But by the grace of God, she saw headlights in the road that wasn't too far for her. So she was like, I gotta try to make it. At least let me get my body to the road so then at least my body can be found. So I'm not just here in an open field. She sits up. This is where it gets a little graphic, so brace yourselves. Her body is up, but her head is looking at the stars. Allison was nearly decapitated. Yeah, she was nearly decapitated, and she had to take her hand and basically put her head on straight and hold it there. And also from her stomach, she felt like something was spilling out, and she looked down and she saw that her intestines were spilling out of her stomach. Her bowel. After I felt that, saw that, I would have gave up. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not one of them people that would try to survive that hard. But you know what? She got the strength to survive. Go girl. Power to you. Because I would have let myself go. I'd have been like, this too much. So what she did is that with one hand, put her head on straight. The other hand, she put it over her stomach and kept her intestines and stomach, like her actual stomach from inside of her body, inside of her. And she stumbled to the road in and out of consciousness. So it probably took her a while to get to the road. And once she finally got to the road, she laid on the ground hoping that somebody would find her. And Allison was so when I say this girl was lucky, she was lucky. There was a man driving on the road. He saw her on the side of the road. He decided to stop. I think his name is Tien. Tien stopped and he saw that she needed help. And Tien is a veterinarian student. He was studying to be a vet. He is studying to be a vet, probably a vet now. And he used his veterinarian skills to help her survive. Tien later says that God definitely put him on that road to find her, to save her. The one thing he did that Allison said that helped her keep going is once an ambulance and everything came, Ian kept trying to get her to keep her eyes open. So he told her that she had the most beautiful green eyes and that she needs to keep her beautiful green eyes open. She kept them open. Like, these are words from her. She kept them open because she thought that was amazing in the state that she was in. This person believes she has beautiful green eyes. That's so nice. And Tien actually rode all the way to the hospital with her until she was able to get into the emergency room, get some care to try to save her. Dr. Alexander Angelov. Don't know if I said his name wrong. I'm so sorry. He said he never seen injuries this severe. He was actually pretty shocked that Allison was alive when she reached the emergency. He was in just disbelief because with somebody that has a near decapitation, they have been basically disemboweled. You don't expect them to survive. You don't think they're alive either. So it was pretty crazy. And once they were able to get Allison stable and she recovered a little bit, police were able to get the information they needed to get to Franz and Cugger. The news in South Africa actually nicknamed them the Ripper Rapists. And from it being spread all over the news, they were quickly actually arrested. Thank God. And once they were arrested, come to find out, they didn't only do this to Allison. They actually did it to a few women. Yeah, they were arrested and they were charged with, I believe I have down here, 8 separate charges and some of them include essay, kidnapping, and I think one count of murder. North Ripper trial. That was the name of the trial that they plastered all over the news in South Africa to make sure that people, heard about these individuals. These individuals have actually come to find out hurt a lot of people. They were both sentenced to life sentences, and supposedly I think I read a little bit of information somewhere that they are either getting paroled or were paroled. I'm not really too sure. I heard that Allison is always fighting against them getting parole, so that's kind of crazy, freaking wild. After Allison's attack, they actually decided to make her trauma into a documentary so it can educate other women about what happened, how to survive, about SA. Allison was even named the Woman of Courage in South Africa as well. In South Africa, she actually was one of the first women to actually speak up about sexual assault in South Africa. Also, from this, she was able to speak at like about 35 countries and counting on her survival, her strengths, how she made it through what they did. Just to educate women to say, like, you're not just a victim. You can be more than just a victim. Like, let's take what happened to us and go forward and make change. And remember when I said he disemboweled her? What he was trying to do is get to her reproductive organs. I believe I talked about that. And come to find out, he didn't hit him. She was able to have a baby in 2003. That's amazing. She was able to bring life when they were trying to take life. I think that is great. And I do want to leave this off with a quote from Allison. It says, "Remember yourself that you do not have to take responsibility for what others do. Life is not a collection of what happens to you, but of how you responded to what has happened to you." From Alison Brotha. So that is the story for this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you next time. Bye.